All right, that should be working. The blue light's on.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I always forget something. That's me. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Tiffany. Welcome to my quilting life. Let's have some breakfast in my place. Today, we're going to have jelly roll. Yum. Okay. Oh, I didn't even bring my glasses in here or nothing. I'm like so behind. My brain is like, it's because it's cold out. No. All right, we got Betty, Bonnie, Karen, Mary, Doreen, Sherry, Cheryl, Candace, Joanne, Eva, Sheehan, Becky, Muriel, Danelle, Rhonda, Jean, Bernice, Sue, Wendy, Blanche, Marie, Candace, Mona, Tammy, and around to it. Hello, everybody. Good morning. All right. Oh, he came in here to say hi. The kitty cat came in to say hi. Ooh. Say hi, everybody. Say good morning. What do you want to sew today? How Thumpy? Huh? What do you want to sew today? Nothing? Okay, fine. Okay. Where was I? Brain. I have no idea. Okay. So I made a video a week ago. Well, more than a week ago. Either way, I made a video and I had used fat quarters as quilt backing. And in that video, I grabbed a quilt from my closet that I had made off camera. And well, let's just say it was in that video. So not only did we get emails, but we got comments in the video and people on Facebook asking, what is that quilt you made? And is there a video? So I said, well, I promise I will make one as soon as I can or when I can get to it. Scott was replying to some of them saying, well, she doesn't have the same fabric. Little did he know I actually do have a jelly roll of that same fabric because, you know, I buy 2 at a time. So I actually had a jelly roll.
How to answer those people, Missy.
Oh, I don't even remember.
So it wasn't little do I know.
Anyways.
You told me what to say.
I'm going to make that quilt. And before I even start making it, I'm going to show you that quilt so that you know what I'm even talking about. Because a lot of you probably are wondering what the quilt was. I just needed a quilt because I needed to make backing fabric, you know? So here is the quilt. And today I'm going to start showing you how to make it. I named it Jellyroll Flight because, as you can see, my half square triangles are in flight. So we're going to go ahead and make this today. And if you're curious, this is what the backing with fat quarters looks like from utilizing fat quarters. But yeah, this is actually really fun, easy to make. I can't say it's super quick of a sew because it does have half square triangles that are little, and they do take a minute to sew up. So I'm going to toss that aside now that I've showed it. And we are going to go through what supplies you need. So, pull my hair off my back. First thing you're going to need is a jelly roll. Okay, 1 jelly roll, 40 piece, 42 piece. It really doesn't matter because you're only using 20 for the strips and 20 for the flying geese, or for the flying half square triangles. But technically, you only use a little bit of it. So you can get away with a 20-piece fat quarter bundle. I mean, fat quarter. Why am I saying fat quarter? My brain. You can get away with a 20-piece jelly roll or 21-piece jelly roll and use the accent as all the half square triangles if you wanted to. And that way you didn't have to have more than the jelly roll. It's up to you. You do what you want. This is also great for scraps. The second thing you're going to need is 2 yards of a background because this is a one-size quilt. So 2 yards of a background. And then 1 1/4 yard of an accent, and I only added more because I'm going to make the borders on the new one bigger than that one, because I didn't have enough on that one, because it's actually leftovers from another project. So I have a lot of things going on, and yeah, that was leftovers from another project, which for this, okay, you get it. And then I'm going to be using my Clearly Perfect slotted trimmer when I get to the half square triangles. If they don't come out perfect, then this will help them be perfect. And that's the supplies you need. All right, and so we're going to start with cutting. The first thing you're going to cut is from the Jellyroll, and then we'll move on to the background. I wrote it all down so that way, and I'll after the live stream, I'll write the rest of everything in the description box below the video. All right, cut that ribbon and that off. We're going to start with the Jellyroll. Just going to open it up. Now, a lot of Jellyrolls are kind of similar like this, where there's 2 of each strip. There are some that have more than 2 of each strip or 1 of each strip. This one has 2 of each strip, so I'm working with that 2 of each strip thing because I want my half square triangles to be the same in that specific color row. So if it's 1 Jellyroll, I want the matching strips, the matching half square triangles in that strip. So I'm going to go ahead and separate all of this into 2 piles because there's 2 of each. And yes, I'm wearing my hoodie because it is like 43 degrees outside. So it kind of echoes into this house. We don't have the heat on. So it's like, probably like 65 in the house. So I'm a little on the chilly
70,
side.
70, calm down. You're just cold
He
at
says
70.
it's 70, but it feels less than 70. I'm just cold at 70. 70 is my cutoff. All right, so I'm going to just quickly make 2 piles because one pile, the pieces are staying whole for now, and the other pile we're going to cut up.
Is it bad to use black thread when quilting?
It is not bad to use black thread when quilting, but there's not a rule. It's an unwritten rule. I wouldn't use black thread on a quilt that's white and green or something because then it would be too much. Yeah, it depends on the colors that you're doing. But if you're actually just piecing, I don't use black thread when piecing with white fabrics because it'll show the thread color will show when you press your seam to the right or left, you'll have a really dark seam color. So you don't want that. Other than that, you can use black like this project. I could probably get away with black, but since I'm using white background, that would not work out. It's going to take a second. I actually pre-cut some to make half square triangles of the other fabric just so that this doesn't take forever. Because this is going to be 2 episodes worth most likely because I don't think I'll be able to get the whole thing in one video. But we'll see. All right. 20 are staying whole for now. And the other 20, I'm going to go ahead now and we're going to stack it up. I'm just going to literally, I need to stack everything nicely. And I'm going to cut 1, 2, where am I at? I'm going to cut 2 2.5 inch squares off of each fabric color. And I don't even need them to be totally straight. I'm just going to stack them and cut them because I only need one side. And the rest of it's actually scrap after we cut the 2.5 inch strips at 4.5 inch. No, 2.5 only from these ones. That's right. Yeah, sure. All right, that should be enough for that stack. I try not to cut more than like 10 at a time. Of course, that wasn't 10, that was like 7 or something, but still. Wow, those ones were like stuck together. Not at the same time. All This is such pretty fabric too. This jelly roll. It's pretty jelly roll. Yeah, when I buy jelly rolls, I always buy 2. Unless they don't have 2, then I just get the 1. But I always buy 2, just in case I want to make a bigger quilt. So it's kind of a habit to have more than 1 available. Or I can make multiple like I do sometimes. It doesn't always happen, but sometimes I actually will make 2 quilts of the same quilt. Just because one I'm getting all the math from, and the other is actually for the video kind of thing. Is what I do. 2 more. Make a nice stack here, 1 there, and 1 more right there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and off of each of these strips, I'm just going to cut 2 2.5-inch squares off of these. That's it. Let's use a bigger ruler. I'm going to cut a nice straight edge real quick. Having the hoodie on makes it hard to cut fabric in certain ways because I always think I'm going to cut the hoodie. Because it's got bagginess to it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 2.5-inch squares off of each strip. That way I have my matching colors. And then that's all I need of those, literally. So all this, just get really nice back up, and then I can have this all for another project. You like how I do that? All right. Now we're going to take all 40 of these and we're going to make half square triangles, and then we'll work on the next cuts. Oh, from your background to make the half square triangles, you need to cut, hold on, 3 strips of your background. So take your background, your 2 yards of background, cut 3 2.5-inch strips, subcut that into 40 2.5-inch squares. And then the jelly roll name is Fabric Traditions or something. Oh, Fabric Central Strips. That's all it is. There's no name. It's not, there's no name. It's a Tuesday morning deal. When Tuesday morning was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no name on it because it was from Tuesday morning. Now you just messed me up. It's okay. So 3 2.5-inch strips from your background, subcut into 2.5-inch squares. That should give you more than 40 because you get 16 per strip, and then, you know, that third strip gives you your other 4. And then from your accent, cut off 2 2.5-inch strips, and you're going to subcut that into 20 2.5-inch squares. All right. Because we're making 40 half square triangles. No, 40. We're making 80 half square triangles, technically. All right, here we go. Just gonna go ahead and keep these together because I want to not have to deal with that after the fact. Look at these 2, it landed perfectly. Look at that.
That is cool. They look like 2 eyes.
Yeah, it look like eyeballs. I'm keeping my colors together because that's important for me. You don't have to, but I want my same colors in my half square triangles that are in the row of my full strips. Oh goodness, come on. I probably could have cut them in half instead of opening them all up, you know, but I like to make things hard on myself. So whatever we don't finish this week, though, we'll finish next episode. 23 will be next. All right. So this project is obviously being started right now, but when I go to finish it the 1st of December, I actually won't be here. We will not be physically in the sewing room. I will be in Las Vegas with my friend Becca from Sew Becca. So what I am going to do is literally film myself sitting here with you guys talking about nothing, because I don't even know what to talk about when nobody's here asking questions. But I'm going to film myself as if it's a, you know, live stream, and then put it as a live stream. So that way, like there's a word for it. My brain isn't. Pre-recorded video as a preview. Is that what it's called? Not preview. Whatever. It's going to be that. That's what I'm going to do. Anyways, you could draw your line from corner to corner, or you can use your seam tape if you have any. And I'm going to sew on both sides of my drawn line. I want 2 half square triangles per each piece. So I'm going to sew on both sides of my invisible line. Well, it would help if I was binding, so this needs, uh-oh, I'm stuck. What is it stuck on? Something isn't right. I had a tangle up on the top of my thingamabobber. Anyway, so yeah, it'll be a whatever it's called. So it'll be pre-recorded, but it'll still go live, and I'll still be in the chat. I just won't physically be in my room. So that's what I'm going to do to finish this project for you guys. That way you can see the whole thing. All right, so I'm going to sew every single one of these through, and then turn the whole bunch around and sew the opposite side. That way I can sew on both sides of my drawn line. My machine is feeling a little weird. I don't know why. Probably because I sew too much. Anyway, hopefully everybody had a good week so far. I have had an okay week. I've gotten some sewing done. I got a little bit of long arm quilting practice done. I was just messing around with designs. What else did I do this week? I filmed a video that'll be out next Tuesday. I did that this week and edited it. I can't say that right. Edited it. Been a busy little bee here. Well, I'm always a busy little bee. Some weeks more than others. Yeah, I've just been sewing away. Hopefully that's what everybody else has been doing. Yep, there's gonna be a new quilt video next Tuesday. Hopefully you guys like it. I had struggles filming it. The Christmas Goose, the quilt store, probably. I went there last time I was in Vegas. I went to all the quilt stores last time I was in Vegas, thanks to Lori, who's here or not here in the chat, not 100% because I didn't see her name yet, but she drove me and Becca around because I don't know Vegas very well, and she did. So she took us around to all the quilt stores, and we made a day of it. So yes, I will visit all the quilt stores if you know, obviously. And then I'm also probably going to do some regular wandering because while Becca's doing her work thing, she's actually there for a work trip. So while she's doing her work thing, I need to find myself stuff to do. So any of you Vegas people out there, if you want to hang out in December in the morning times while Becca's at her thingamabobber, I will have free time. Usually half square triangles is the part that takes the most to make for this project. Everything else, once you get all the pieces and parts together, this actually goes together like a jelly roll. Race super fast each row, or maybe like if you're building a bargello. Either way, it's just strips. You're just sewing the strips together once you get the parts and pieces in them. Again, for this project, you need 1 jelly roll, 2 yards of background, and 1 1/4 yard of accent. And your background fabric also includes border number 1, and your accent fabric includes border number 2. Right now we're making the half square triangles. We cut off 42.5 inch squares. So 2 from each jelly roll. From the 20 we separated to make half square triangles, and then we're going to sew through our accent and background color after this, which I cut 42.5 inch squares off my background, which is my accent, which is 3 strips. So 3 strips from the background and 3 2.5 inch strips from the accent. All right, so now I'm just going to start running the accents through. Did I not cut enough? I think I only cut 2 strips earlier. I thought I cut enough. I was in a rush this morning. Nope, I only cut 2 strips. Look at me. Some off of here. Not gonna get enough. All right, go there, and I need 1 more off of here. Move this out of my way before I cut myself. I was trying to get ahead of the game, you know, for sewing this morning, but it doesn't always work out as planned. I was highly distracted this morning. I buy my glide thread at my local store, my local quilt shop, and Scott Put Lincoln. That's definitely not 40. I have no idea. Let's see right now, because I'm going to get 16 from this, and I don't know how many are there. Similar to the purple one you showed on Sunday? Similar to the purple one I showed on Sunday. I don't remember showing a purple one on Sunday. I had plenty that had purple in, yes, but this is the project from the Fat Quarters as Quilt Back video that everybody asked about. So I made a video using Fat Quarters as quilt backs, and everyone wanted the pattern, but I had not made a pattern for it yet. I used the quilt before doing anything. Because, you know, I hang them in my closet. I forget to make the videos, blah, 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 blah. You know how it goes. I'm a busy bee. Forget. All right, now to sew these. That stack doesn't look as big as that stack, but guess what? I'm going to sew anyway. It should. Well, no, because it's going to sag as you go.
You keep working. I'll get it.
All right. We're going to hang this up temporarily until I hang this all the parts and pieces up.
Top and the bottom.
Goes this way. The other way. This.
It's the way I had it, isn't it?
Oh, this way. Right there.
Ah, okay.
The top and bottom have a white dash because I didn't have enough fabric from my scraps.
Stick on here?
No.
That's too heavy, huh?
It's too heavy. It will fall.
I got it. Working.
The floor. Yep. All right. That's the quilt we're doing. We're making that. All right, here we go. Let's sew these accent pieces now. I'm sewing my 40 accent half square triangles on both sides of my drawn line. So I'm sewing on both sides of a drawn line. I'm using my seam tape, which comes in handy. And if you're curious where you can get seam tape that helps, it can be bought at Fat Quarter Shop. And the Gypsy Quilter has purple stuff. It's called Seam Guide Washi Tape by the Gypsy Quilter. You can use the purple, or they have white one, whatever. Just when you go to Fat Quarter Shop, type in seam tape and it should come right up. Plus, you can get it anywhere else. I'm just using Fat Quarter Shop as the, you know, because I'm an affiliate for them. Like I said, this is the part that takes the longest, is sewing all the half square triangles and then trimming them. Because I don't definitely sew straight at all. I gotta trim everything up. Our goal is 1.5 inch triangle, half square triangles. I know this is small. If you want to just use a whole square right here of this fabric that's in that row, you can do that too. That's up to you if you don't want to sew the half square triangles. And that, and if you did it in that case, you would only need 20 because I did use my accent, you know, so you would only need 20. But everybody asked how to make this, so I'm making it for you. I don't know the size of the quilt. I know people are going to ask. This is going to be a little bit bigger because I'm going to use a bigger border. All right, here we go. Now to sew all down the opposite way. Here we go. So now I'm just going to sew on the other side of my drawn line. What?
Jellyroll is still available?
They don't have Tuesday morning anymore anywhere. Yeah, Tuesday morning is closed. That's where this jelly roll came from. So, yeah, that would be a no. But you can look up Fabric Central and see what they have. I mean,
They have a website.
huh?
Maybe they're on.
Yeah, maybe they have a website or Etsy or eBay or I think Walmart even sells Fabric Central, but they don't sell the jelly rolls. They sell little 20-piece folded things now. Oh, yeah. I prefer to chain piece everything, and that is why I've done it this way. If you've been following my channel a long time, you'll know that this is how I do multiple half square triangles. And since this is from a jelly roll, I couldn't do, you know, the 4 at one time kind of thing because this is a jelly roll. Almost done. I'm a dummy. Come on, go back on there. Okay. Grab a trimming tool, snip them all apart, and then we're going to cut them and then make half square triangles. Yeah, if you want to start separating these and then keep them kind of stacked together. So those two, you know what I mean?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to split these apart now.
Just gonna, you want to stack this right from the end? Because I'm just gonna stack them.
Yeah, just stack them.
Is that fine?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
Out of
didn't
the
notice
way.
that.
All right. I think I'm gonna take my hoodie off now that I'm working. Hold on for the sound, guys. It's gonna get squishy for a second. Just 2 seconds. And if you want to see, I'm wearing my nice scale purple pajama pants that I made. I actually wore them in public, so they could be public or pajama. It don't matter.
Yes, you want the doctors.
Yeah, I wore them to the doctor's office the other day. They're kind of tight, but that's okay. It's because I should have pre-washed my fabric. I don't think to do that kind of stuff when I just want to make something right now kind of thing. I don't think, hey, I need to pre-wash my fabric.
So we could get another doctor's leaving town.
Yeah, and then while I was at the doctor's, found out that that doctor is leaving town. So now, not only do I not have a neurologist, I do not have a rheumatologist. I need a neurologist for my MS, a rheumatologist for my arthritis. Now I don't have a pain doctor to get any kind of anything to substitute
Your migraine
my
medicine.
migraine medicine.
That's what you see the pain
Yeah.
doctor for. You're not on pain pills.
So this small little town, don't move here. There's no doctors.
Well, 8 zillion people come here in the winter. We get snowbirds from all across the world. We get tons of Canadians here even. It's weird that we have no doctors.
Yeah, we have people from all over the country and even Canada that come here and need doctors, but there's nobody to go to. Need a neurologist? Nope, they don't have one. Need a rheumatologist? They have one, but it's for 50 and older, 55 and older, or something like that. And I have 10, 11 more years till I'm that age, so.
And we have no pain doctor now.
And now I have no pain doctor for migraine stuff.
Oh, I'm this far. You wanna...
Just make it stack right there.
Yeah, I'll throw it on the bottom when I'm done.
Or you can just throw it right there. They're separated now.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you. Like I said, this is the part that's going to take the longest, is sewing and cutting and trimming and pressing all of this. And yes, I'm keeping all my colors together on the side. You don't have to do that, but I am, because I'm running the same color. And after we trim them apart, I got to go through and turn them all into the size they need to be. They're all just facing different ways. Any questions or anything?
What will the lavender squares be used for?
They're the accent. The lavender is the accent, and it is also the second border. I have that thing where in my brain where if I throw a specific color into a quilt on a border, you know, if I put it as a border, it's got to be blended into the quilt somewhere so that it looks good together. If that makes any sense. So this purple doesn't really match per se, but once you throw it in somewhere in the quilt and then you throw it on a border, then it matches. Makes sense? So that is why there is an accent color. There's enough in the yardage for the border to be able to do a 5-inch border this time. This one I think is only a, I think I cut it at 3.5 inches.
You ever make rope rugs?
Rope rugs? No, I do not. I have been asked in the past plenty of times if I've ever made a Jellyroll rug. Nope, never done that either. I don't plan on it either. I don't want to waste a perfectly good Jellyroll to walk on it. Sorry, I'm one of those people. Plus, I don't need a rug anywhere in my house.
Yeah, the only ones we have is in the bathroom.
Because then my cat would just lay on it constantly and cover it with his fur, and he already covers everything else with his fur in the wintertime when he's not shaved. So I don't need any other things in this house for him to get cat hair on. I love my animal. I love kitty cats. I like dogs. Their fur, I do not like that. Especially if he was a bed cat and liked to sleep up on my pillows. I inhale enough of my own hair. I don't need to inhale the cat's hair. It's funny. All right, almost down. And once I get fur enough down, I'm gonna go ahead and trim all these to 1.5 inches. Whew. Once you start working hard, the cold chill goes away. All right, now to trim everything to 1.5 inches. Okay. Both the accent and the other one. And yes, it's a lot of waste, but it's the only way I could think. Because if you were to do 4 at a time, it's a 1.25 inch thing. And I did not want 1.25 because we need 1.5. Cutting the dog ears off at the same time too. I always forget to use this little dashing thing. That's what takes forever on this. I think I'm just going to cut my 1.5 inch and just cut all the dog ears off after the fact. You could press them first, then cut them down if you wanted. Like I said, this is the part that takes the longest. I probably could have did a different number from the accent fabric instead of doing it this way.
Use a different foot for sewing on vinyl.
Sewing on vinyl, I have, for this machine, I have a Teflon foot, and then on the industrial machine, it's a walking foot machine, so I don't need a special foot. But yes, for this machine, I had Teflon foot. I still have it, but I don't sew vinyl on this anymore. I'm trying to make these Jukies last longer by having a machine for making bags. That way I'm not using it till it breaks. You know what I mean? I don't want it to break any sooner. And if you guys are looking for machines or supplies for machines or anything like sewing related, SewingMachinesPlus is having Black Friday deals going on right now. They start their Black Friday early like Walmart does. Okay, I'll be ready.
I know you'll be here.
I'll put that in front of me. All right. He's going to let the dog out. Not our dog, because we don't have a dog. But our neighbor does. And we watch the dog. Well, let it out. Scott does. I have a few times, but it's too cold for me to be outside. Come on, stay where I put you. Whew, this is the part that really just sit here and do this and this and this over and over. You want to make a quilt that requires half square triangles. Let yourself know you're going to be sitting there for an extra hour and a half. If there's no half square triangles involved, then you're good. So if I chop the dog ears off, or press them and chop the dog ears off, which I'll do those with scissors. Getting to the bottom of my accent color. Last one of these. Yeah, I would teach Scott how to trim them, but it would take twice as long, 3 times as long, and some of them would be wonky. You're not very good at the cutting part. Plus, he uses a regular rotary cutter too, and I don't want him to chop his fingers off. It's bad enough I take that chance with the way I cut things. I'm always cutting myself. but he can iron because he's the Iron Man. You want to start ironing all those?
Machine when making t-shirt quilts?
I do not use the industrial machine for t-shirt quilts, no. Because the industrial machine is for thicker stuff.
You use any special needle when sewing them together?
When sewing t-shirt quilts, I just use a 9014. I don't use anything special, but you can use a jersey needle if you want for sewing t-shirt quilts. I do when I embroider on clothes. I use a jersey needle, but for t-shirt quilts, I just use a 9014, which is the regular standard needle.
Where do we get it?
We buy batting when it's on sale, either at Walmart, Marshall Dry Goods. I've been looking at Linda's Electric Quilters because they have black right now batting on sale, but
Walmart.
Usually Walmart though. All this work, it makes me get all sweaty. Let me tie my hair back. Press them to the dark color.
All these?
Yes. The dog ears, I gotta trim all those off. I didn't do it because it takes too long this way with the cutter for me. Yes. Welcome everybody that's joining. Yes, I am making this quilt all over again. That's behind me because it's by popular demand. I had so many inquiries about it. So I'm making it. I mean, I could have just said on a video how to make it, but we're just going to make it again, except I'm making it with bigger borders because I want a little bit bigger of a quilt, even though this is perfect lap size. And just remember, what I don't finish today will be finished in a video that will premiere on the first Thursday of December, because I will not be physically in this room that week. So you guys will get a premiere video instead, which is just pre-recorded and set to live stream.
Hey, you'll still be in the
So
chat.
I'll still be in the chat. Scott will probably still be in the chat.
Of course.
So there'll be two me's in the chat.
Horse is a horse, of course, of course.
I'm remaking it, but who knows when I'll ever get this one quilted. It's gonna go in the closet and wait again. I did quilt another quilt the other day though.
The problem is you have so
They're
many quilts,
little.
you have no place to store them all.
Yeah, I have so many quilts, but I don't have a place to store them all. They kind of just float around in my fabric room. My quilt ladders are full, so they can't go on quilt ladders. But technically, those are for my personal quilts, not for my shop quilts. I try to keep those all in a cupboard, which is overflown.
And it's breaking.
Yeah,
It's
the cupboard
exploding.
broke. So it's kind of held together by a latch and padlock hook. Because it doesn't stay shut.
That's one of the reasons why we had the de-stash.
Yeah.
Trying to get rid of some.
Why we had the de-stash is to try to get rid of some. And then when we were done, even though we sold a few, I still couldn't fit them all back in the cupboard. There's still a bunch hanging outside the cupboard.
What size square did you start with?
These were 2.5-inch squares. I sewed on both sides of my invisibly drawn line. And now these will be 1.5-inch half square triangles when I am done. Hopefully by later today we should have all the quilts from Sunday's de-stash listed on Etsy. We just haven't gotten that far yet because I've been busy with other things. Oh, come on.
We'll do our best.
We'll do our best to get things done. Literally, usually I don't, but today, because I've been having struggles with my hands lately, I'm having hand fatigue already. Usually you don't get it with the Martelli cutter, but because I'm having issues, I'm having hand fatigue already, and I just barely got started.
Okay, well, here's a bunch of them together already. Can you do something with these ones?
Not yet. I gotta finish trimming all these. Just stick those down.
Okay. Well, instead of cutting, I thought, never mind.
No, but I could task you with cutting the dog ears off.
Okay.
Here, there's a pair of scissors.
Do you want me to iron or do you want me to cut? What am I doing?
Between the ironing, when you're done ironing.
I have all this to do. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna be done.
Okay. He's like, I don't think I'm gonna be done ironing.
You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 10 stacks, and I haven't finished the purples yet.
Oh, okay.
I can cut instead of iron. Do you want me to do that?
Nope. I got it.
I'm sorry, I'm not as fast as you. I don't think any of your hands are as fast as you.
Scott said he doesn't think anybody's as fast as me with the quilting making and the ironing and the cutting and all the steps that I do, especially the sewing. I'm like Quick Draw McGraw. Is that from a movie?
Draw?
Yeah.
Cartoon.
Yeah, that's the cartoon. Yeah. I knew it was something. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 stacks left after this. And then I can start trimming the dog ears off the purple ones and then sew those together while Scott presses all these. I probably should have just pre-made all these half square triangles, you know, because this is the part that takes the longest. And just told you how to do it. Probably would have made more sense. But I don't like to miss a step when I'm making quilts for you guys, you know. It's the reason why I fast forward videos and so on and so forth when I make videos. I try not to skip any step. That's why my videos are long. I don't want anybody to miss out on something, just in case. Even though YouTube has a rewind and a fast forward button and a pause button, I still don't want a step skipped. I guess it's a bad habit of mine when on making videos for you guys.
You don't skip steps. You're good. You go step by step.
As I said, I try not to skip any steps. So I don't pre-make anything before live streams usually. Sometimes I'll pre-cut fabric because there's a lot to cut or something, or if I'm following someone else's pattern, then I'll have all the parts and pieces pre-cut out, like I did with the one butterfly quilt that I called Country Butterflies. It was a Layla Boutique pattern, and I
Yeah, I like that one. I think that's color.
did that one, you know, by pre-cutting it out, but did it on live streams. I don't know either. All irons are different. The newest purple Aliso that I have, the TG 1600 Pro Plus, the purple Aliso, is already broken. It now leaks water like a sieve, and it hasn't been steaming or anything. And it keeps getting stuck on the going up and down, and there's no way to turn that off.
99-cent store junker's going strong.
Yeah, Scott's 99-cent junker is lasting longer.
Well, it costs more than 99 cents.
Well, it's from the 99-cent store. It was what, $5.99? Something like that.
I don't know, $6, $7.
It was under 10. Yeah, after this next Aliso completely takes a dump, it's just Walmart ones from now on. The $20 or less irons. And I iron a lot, so I always have to buy new irons. That's the problem. There's so much ironing going on in here. So they just break faster than normal, I guess.
Which one should I do next?
Well, I have these all in before. Just keeping them.
Yeah, I'll keep the colors separate. I get what you're doing. I'm just saying.
Nope, no certain specific order. All right, after this, I'm going to cut all the dog ears off the purples, and we're going to start sewing while Scott presses the rest of all these.
Want me to cut the dog ears off the purple for a while? Instead of ironing that?
Nope. I got it. All right. I know that Clearly Perfect slotted trimmer, you can cut the dog ears off, but that, I think, I take more chances of breaking the ruler or nicking my blade trying to stick it in the slots as opposed to just trimming them off like this. They come off if you press first too. You just trim that way. It's a lot easier to do half square triangles, honestly. I probably should have pressed first, then trimmed them all. I think that one's a little bit faster than doing any Clearly Perfect slotted trimmer, any triangle trimmer tool out there. I just don't like these in the quilt because it creates a lot of bulk. I've had client quilts where they've left them together on pinwheels, and so I have to change out the foot on my long arm to be able to go over those because it makes such a thick seam. So to make your long armor happy, trim them off. I did it myself in the beginning too. Back when I used to sew using the Juki as my mid arm on a frame. Boy, let me tell you, because I didn't know in the beginning. These are 1.5 inches right now. Now they're being turned into 1.5 inch half square triangles. Like I said, I could have done 4 at a time or 8 at a time with the accent ones, but with the Jellyroll ones, I couldn't. So it was better just to have everything at 2.5 inch strips cut to make 2 at a time. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
He's saying his fat fingers are struggling to open the half square triangles.
That's why it's taking me so long to iron. I can't open the daggone thing.
I probably should have left them big and then trimmed after. That's okay. We got to make these into units anyway.
What?
I don't want you to burn anything.
I'm not. I'm right here. Go away. Do your job.
All right. We are going to turn the accent ones now into these units where they all face one direction. We're going to use a 1/4 inch seam. Line my 1/4 inch seam up, put my seam guide, my magnetic seam guide, right at it so that I know for a fact I'm at a 1/4 inch. And what we're going to do is all, where's my, everything buried way up here. Hold on, let me grab it out. I'm going to do this right here. We're going to do this with both the accent color and with the Jellyroll color. We're going to turn them into blocks that look like that. With all of the color goes the same direction. So I'm literally just going to run them through with all of these facing the same direction. I just put them in one right after the other, and then I'll split them into sections of 4. That way I'm chain piecing the whole entire lot of everything. It's gonna drive me nuts sitting there. Put that in the trash. All right. Run all these through. And we're making 20 of these units in total. Probably miscalculated too because I was in a rush trying to write this all out to do this for you guys. But pretty sure that's where we're at. 20 units. I'm literally just chain piecing them all through in sets of 2 with the triangles going in the same direction. And the next one's triangles in the same direction. How many of you out there you think will make this? This is such an, it's easy. It's just the half square triangle part takes a while. And I know a lot of you don't like 1.5 inch half square triangles. But like I said, you don't have to use these to make it if you don't want to. You can just cut your extra pieces and just do a solid square in these sections. Doesn't seem like there's enough of these. I feel like there's not going to be enough of the accent. Like I didn't cut enough to start. Huh? Ooh, I think it would look good in purple too, yes. But I love the color purple. So anything in the color purple. Yeah. All right, so now it's a long strip. I'm going to separate this into 2. So every 2, I'm going to snip it apart. And they should all still be going that same direction. 2, 3. Yep, I only have 10. And I'm supposed to have 20. See, I didn't cut enough strips this morning. I must have been half asleep doing this. So I'm just going to finger press them one way, one way, and one the other, because it doesn't really matter which way they're pressed because they're not butting up next to another piece. So I need to make 10 more of these. Sorry. So when these are together, it should make 2.5 inch squares. Right now I'm just finger pressing because it's easier just to finger press right here at this step. No. I need to make 20 more of these. I mean 10 more of these anyway. Because I did not make enough in the first place. I didn't cut enough fabric, I mean. I can. What's everybody going to be doing for Thanksgiving? We are supposed to go to a friend's house for Thanksgiving this year. I can't wait till Christmas because I want enchiladas. I mean, that doesn't have to be Christmas to make enchiladas. I love them to where I could make them any time of year. Well, anytime in the winter time. Because in our house, we don't use the oven anytime but the winter time. But I can't wait for that. Thanksgiving wise, I'm looking forward to some good food, time with friends. It's literally almost here. All right, so now I have 10. You should have 20 because you need one for each row. When I say row, I mean this is a row, this is a row, this is a row. So there should be 20 of these. So I think it's 4, 5, 2.5-inch strips from the accent. Where are we at? 2. I don't know. I just need to make 10 more. Pre-cut these out.
You have dimensions for the small size Christmas tree that you did last year. Or would it just be half of everything?
The small size Christmas tree I did last year. Just go to the video. It has everything in it.
No, they want to make it smaller.
Oh, to make it smaller? Yeah, just
do half of everything.
Yeah, just do half of everything. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 5. Toss that over there. I need one more strip. So that's 3 accent strips and 3 regular strips or background strips. For the half square triangles. Right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 7, 8. 2 more cuts. 9 and 10. So that's actually 4 background strips and 4 jelly rolls or accent strips. Yep, that's where I messed up. I cut 3 instead of 4. Yeah, that happens. Can you press these real quick right here to go flat?
Yeah.
I'm not going to make them right now, but at least they're pre-cut. I'm just going to leave them right there. All right, so we should have 20 total of our accent and background half square triangles, which is in flight. This is in flight block with them all facing the same way. Don't ask me why they call it that, but that is why this quilt is called Jellyroll Flight, because technically that's what the block is in flight. So there that is. All right, those are ready. So those need to be pressed. Now to make the 20 units of the jelly roll pieces. All right, so those will go together. That's 1. I'm just cutting the dog ears off of this so that there's no bulk or no extra bulk, because technically there always is bulk. We don't want the extra bulk. That's 2. I have a fuzz at the edge of my nose.
Oh, don't you hate that?
I had one on my lip. I put chapstick on this morning because I use chapstick often. So I put chapstick on, and like 5 seconds later, I kept feeling at the peak right here of your lip. I kept feeling like, what the heck? I kept wiping it. And it was still there. Turns out I took my fingernail and I pinched at the top lip and pulled it off. And it was like a long fuzzy that came off of my clothes from putting my hoodie over my head or something. It was stuck on the lip part on the chapstick, but just enough of it was not touching it unless I was moving my mouth. I was like, what the heck? Just enough to be annoying. Every now and then I get little threads too in my hair or in my eyelashes in here. Like, what the heck? How does that even happen? You know, this is not next to my face, but it ends up in my face. It's the funniest thing.
I didn't know this.
Yes, please.
You don't want me to cut?
You can trim the dog ears off, I guess. Well, I was just going to make a bunch of these real quick and then get the next step up onto the wall. And then the rest I'll sew on camera still, but off camera at the same time. That way it's towards next time's video.
Forward together, or they look separate?
Yeah, that's fine. They're the same. Trust me.
Okay.
It came from the same thing. That's where I lost my colors last time. I was like, what? Those don't go together, but they did.
Okay. If you say so, I agree.
So these I'm going to sew together the exact same way. As I did the accent color ones. So they're all going to go with the same direction. So here's the one block, like that. And we're going to do that same thing all over again, but with all of these. So I'm just going to make a few for now. That way I can show you the next step, and that way the rest of the video. No, just pick a side. Just pick a side. Doesn't matter if you iron your seams open or pick a side. That's what Scott was just asking. He was asking if you should be ironing them open. You can iron your seams open. Like I said, these seams they're not matching up. They're matching up with solid pieces. So nothing matches. There's no bulk to worry about if you have an open seam or not. I'm just going to chain piece these through, then split them apart. pay attention to the direction here.
Okay, they're just talking about Thanksgiving, I think.
For now, one more for now. Okay, so I'm going to separate them in sets of 2, same as before. That way I'm keeping all the color combinations together. And I'm literally just going to finger press from here. The top one to the right, the bottom one to the left. Nest it up. Sew it through. Like I said, this is the part that takes the longest. Everything else goes super quick because you're just sewing strips together.
And documented 200 quilts for me this year.
Huh?
And documented 200 quilts for me.
Karen documented 200 quilts for me this year. Wow. That's a lot of quilts.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody else make 200 quilts in the year? I probably made more than 200, obviously, because I do a lot of stuff off camera as well. But
Well, I'm sure they weren't all this year's quilts either.
and they probably weren't all this year's quilts, of course. Well, because now I spread it out for 2 weeks worth, you know. So instead of all the quilts being in, you know, no, she's doing on the Sew Sundays and stuff ones too, documenting those. Oh yeah. Well, there's 365 days in a year.
Make other quilts video. This one was not originally a video.
Yeah, this one was not originally a video, and
No,
I
it is.
was, you know, not wanting to make it into a video. Honestly, it was just me messing around, but now it is a video. You know, so I make a lot of off-camera stuff too, like I'll show you the thing I was working on this weekend before I get off of here, if I can remember. It's literally in front of my face. Not this weekend, this week. I did a little tiny project. I do a lot of stuff off camera.
Okay, all those are done. Here, you want me to start cutting these?
No, here's more ironing.
Oh. I'll do that. I'll do that. Just hand me.
All right, the next step is to get all this out of the way. They don't have to go in order, no. All right, we are going to move all this out of the way. Very carefully, like. And we are going to cut from our background fabric. I need first because that one is almost over. We are at, I need to cut 5 4.5-inch strips. 5 4.5-inch strips off of our background. Like I said, I'll put all these instructions down in the description after the video when I get a chance. All right, 4.5-inch strips. I'm cutting 5 of them. So I'm cutting 2 at a time right now. 1, 2. Yeah. 5. 3, 4. And 5. So there's my 5 off of that. So I had my background fabric was more than one cut because I folded it wrong when I made my first cut. We are going to now take our, can you press that real quick, that whole edge? Thank you. We are going to cut these now into 2.5-inch strips, and we need 40 2.5 by 4.5-inch rectangles. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my 2.5-inch by 8-inch little ruler here. Cut the selvage, and I'm going to cut 40 2.5 by 4.5-inch pieces. Come on. All right, there is my 40 2.5 by 4.5. I'm going to set all this aside now, even though it's pre-cut towards my second border, and then I'm going to, from that next cut, I'm going to go ahead and cut 2.5-inch strips. I'm going to cut 2 of them because I don't have enough. Those are all on the fold. Cut 2 2.5-inch strips. We need 20 2.5-inch squares. You get 16 for one, so you'll have a little bit left over. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this last one into something because I'm not going to put it away like that. Set that in my scraps. Okay, so I'm just going to subcut now into 20 2.5-inch squares. So I cut 2 2.5-inch strips off of here. And cut it into 20 2.5-inch squares. All right, here's my 20 2.5-inch, and then I have 40 2.5 by 4.5. Okay. 2.5 by 4.5. I got 40, and 2.5 by 2.5. I've got 20. And what we're going to do is we're going to make some units here, and I'm going to use this little board as my example board. We're going to take one 2.5 by 2.5-inch background. And then we're going to take one of our 2.5-inch squares of our jelly roll, and then one of our accent of our 2.5-inch half square triangles, and we're going to put them opposite of each other like this. So one will fly up and one will fly the opposite direction. And then, so it's those the 2.5-inch square piece with the flying block, and then the 2.5-inch square of your background, and then your flying block of your jelly roll color facing the other way. What I'm going to do on each end, this is the unit we're going to be making. So on each far end, like this, we'll have a 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangle on it. So let me piece this together so that you can see what it's going to look like. So I'm going to press towards the background each time.
Quilt pieces together with quilting thread or regular?
I am using, there's a word, connecting threads essential thread. It is quilting thread or sewing thread. It's piecing, quilting, whatever you need the thread to be. That's what it is. Okay, I'm just going to make sure these are opposite before I put them together. And then I'm going to press it. Well, I'm doing this real quickly. So is this still on? All right, so here is the unit we are making. I'm just going to put it on there crooked because it's easier to see. So I'm making this unit. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this with every single one. But when it goes into the quilt, let me find a spot. This one is this way. So every unit's made exactly the same, except it's this way. Then the next one faces this way. Then the next one faces this way. So they're turned each time. So that way you only have to make the one style unit over and over again. So it's literally just two of these. And if you keep one made unit in front of you, you can remember how they go. So one of these, one of those, and two of these. So I'm literally going to just look at the unit right there, put this here, run that through. Put this one on here. Snip that, place the 4.5 on the opposite side. Then sew them together. Making sure one more time before I sew it that it looks exactly like the previous unit, and it does. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. And then I'm going to press it towards the background. Here is another one. So when they go into the quilt, they're going to be opposite of each other and then tapered. So one will be lower than the next. And obviously, by the time we get to the next video, I will be able to show you how the rest of that goes together. So I'm not going to give any secrets away right away. No, it's fine. I'm just going to make a bunch of these units with what I have here. By the time I do that, it will be time to get off for the day. fine. So I'm just going to repeat that step over and over until I have all 20 of my colors and all 20 of my accent and all 40 of my 2.5 inch and all 20, 2.5 by 4.5 inch and then 20 2.5 by 2.5 inch pieces all together. Like I said, if you don't want to piece those half square triangles, I don't have a whole piece, but you can have a whole piece instead. So you can have one solid piece of this and then one solid piece of your matching fabric from that on there. You know, that way you don't have to make those half square triangles. They'll just have a dash in between. And it wouldn't be considered flight because it's not it wouldn't be a jelly roll flight. It would just be a jelly roll quilt. But if you don't want to do the half square triangles, you don't have to. Okay, where was I? So I'm going to piece all of these with one of this on this end. I don't really have that many pieces here to work with, so I'm just going to do with what I got. So I'm chain piecing them all because that's what I prefer to do. That's my preferred method is chain piecing. As long as I have a unit next to me, once you make that first one, then it works out. All I know is it's fun to make this. It's a fun looking quilt. It comes out really pretty. I can only imagine it in other fabrics, you know. All right, so those are on there. Now these face this way on top of that. I got hiccups all of a sudden randomly out of the blue. Okay, hiccups are gone. Okay. This last one on here. Then open all of them up. Add 2.5 inch on the other side. Any questions? Got 15 minutes left.
That was it.
If I took any sewing classes, and you said what after?
No, but you give them.
Oh yeah, I give sewing classes.
You've never taken it.
I've never taken any. You know what my sewing class was? YouTube University. well, when I realized it was there, technically I already knew how to sew beforehand. I just didn't know how to quilt. But I knew how to use a sewing machine. Huh? Which one's going the wrong way?
Hard to tell.
I don't know. That's going the correct direction. Correct direction. Correct. 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 Correctamundo. So far, so good. Just following my little own chart. So now I'm going to make all these go on here. Now they just hook to the opposite side. And these are facing up instead of down. They should be correct each time. Just open and add. Yep, that's the right way. And if something ends up upside down, I could either rip it or leave it, because then it's just a design element, you know? It's customized. One extra only because I didn't make enough fabric yet. All right, so I now have however many I have so far, and I still need to make some, but that I will save for the video. So all of it, the video that I make it'll all get finished in the one video. So these just need to be pressed now. And everything is facing the same direction. And I'm pressing towards my background. I wonder if woodworkers, because there's so much sawdust and stuff, or metal workers because there's metal shaving dust, if they have as many, like little fuzzes from everything landing on their face, driving them crazy while they're working. Pretty sure fabric dust is probably more easier to inhale than any other dust out there. All right, so I'm going to give these a real quick press because I finger pressed them all, so everything should be nice and good. No other questions? Oh, thank you, Karen. That was very sweet of you. You didn't have to do that. All right. So there's some made. Again, they're going to be going in the quilt, one facing one way. Oops. This. Then the other one will be turned upside down. And then the next one, notice that these are the matching ones for that row. This one would be the matching one for this row right here. They just are opposite of each other. So the next one will go this direction. that, that. I can't get them to stay because this is a quilt, but you know, they're going to be going opposite of each other. So I need to make 10 more half square triangle units that are the accent. And then I need to put together the rest of the other ones from the colors, from the Jellyroll colors. So I think that was 4. I'm trying to think here now because I got myself off. We kept 20 strips whole. 20 of the strips we cut down. 20 of the other strips we cut 2 2.5-inch strips, 2.5-inch squares off of each strip. And then, oh, we're supposed to cut a 4.5-inch cut off of there for this part of the quilt. I knew I had that there for a reason. 2.5, 4.5-inch cut. 2.5 by 4.5 each. Trying to make sure I got the description. And then from the background, 5 2.5-inch strips subcut down into, 6 2.5-inch strips subcut down into 60 2.5-inch squares. Then we're going to cut 5. I didn't need to cut 5 because those are for that. I cut 3 for that because I have 4, 5, and the rest of that. We're cutting 3 4.5-inch strips subcut into 40. You know why I did that? I exactly know why I did that, because I needed these guys right here. That's why I cut the rest. See? I wrote this down and I was pre-thinking. So we're actually cutting 5. I'm going to redo this real quick. 6 of those, 40 of them go for the strips. And the accent was 2 2.5-inch strips, 3 2.5-inch strips. Okay. I'm fixing everything right now on my little 40. Okay. 40. Get 2 from each. 2, 4. Okay. Here we go. 1 jelly roll, 2 yards background for your background and border number 1, which would be this border right here and towards the sashed one with the strips like that. And then 1 1/4 of your accent for border 2, but that's because I'm going to do 5-inch. This one was smaller than 5 inches. And as you can tell, I didn't have enough all the way around. So you're going to keep 20 of your jelly roll strips whole at first. Then, and you're going to set those aside. And then you're going to take the other 20 of your jelly roll strips and you're going to cut off 2 2.5-inch squares from each strip and 2 2.5 by 4.5-inch squares from each strip. This is all the cutting. Then from your background, you're going to cut 5 4.5-inch strips, and you're going to subcut that into 60 2.5 by 4.5-inch rectangles. Then you're going to cut 6 2.5-inch strips, and you're going to subcut that into 60 2.5 by 2.5-inch squares. You're going to set 40 aside from your 3 strips that you're going to set 40 aside for half square triangles, 40 squares towards your half square triangles. The rest is going to be your centers. And then from your accent, you're going to cut 3 2.5 or 2.5-inch strips, and you're going to subcut into 2.5-inch squares. Just subcut it all because you're going to need 40, there we go, 42.5-inch squares. That's all the cuts other than cutting for the borders after the fact. So we're just doing the piecing part first. So that's what we got so far. And then the rest we will work on next time. Okay. Which will be a video, Breakfast at Tiffany's episode. What is this one? 22? So it would be.
Yes, 22.
So episode 23 will be a pre-recorded video of me finishing this exact from right here. You're going to be right there. I'm going to finish it all, show you how to lay it out, so on and so forth. And then that should do it. So hopefully that made sense. And then I'll hold the unit up close to the camera again so that you can see how they're going together. Just like this. So it's a 4.5 by 2.5. Then your 4 half square triangles together, then a 2.5-inch square, 4 half square triangles of your accent, and then 2.5 by 4.5. Just like that. That is the unit that we are making. So that's what we're at right now, is this step. So I just have to finish this step to move on to the rest, which will be in the next video. All right, guys. Any other questions or comments before I get off of here? No? No? All right. Well, I'm going to get going, and then hopefully later today or tomorrow I'll be able to film this, but I got a lot of things going on. Oh, let me see that quote real quick so I can show it on camera.
Oh, yeah, we're going to show this one too.
So I finished this quilt. It's a Halloween quilt. Halloween's long gone and over with, but I made this little wall hanging or table topper from scraps that were sent to me. And it obviously reads Halloween. So I actually quilted it with Halloween themed quilting. So I'm going to bring it up to the camera so that you can see my Halloween themed quilting. So right here we have a pumpkin and a leaf. And then we have a scaredy cat. Can you see him right there? And then we have a bat. It's hard to see because he's in the orange. Hold on, let me find a better bat. I have a witch ghost bat. I have some sloppy cobwebs. I'm not very good with cobwebs. Where's this? I'm trying to find a skull and crossbones that you can actually see. He's in the mouth. We have another bat right there. Can you see that bat right there? Here's a skull and crossbones that you can see. So I have a skull and crossbones. You can see him too. Skull and crossbones right there. And then it's quilted with loop-de-loops. But I was making this so that I can test out some pantograph ideas, because I want to draw my own pantographs. So I definitely needed to make all these characters so that I can, make some pantographs. But yeah, this was one of my side projects that obviously I did off camera. I am not making a video because this was from scraps. It looks like it's cut-offs from cutting Jellyroll pieces. And then I just, strip piece the back with some scraps as well. Yeah, that was my little side project I wanted to show you guys that I finished this week. So there that is. All right.
Those designs were practiced for client quilt.
Yeah.
Because she's on here and she's saying it'll look great.
Yeah, those were practiced for a client quilt. So I'm trying to get it right just because I need to make my own pantograph of the designs before I work it. So I didn't quilt the spider part, but because I did draw out a spider to do, but I didn't do it yet. So, and anyway, I'm going to get going, and I will see you guys in my next video. I will be here on Sunday at 5 p.m. like always. And don't forget, Tuesday will be a new video coming out. And then the next episode of this will be a filmed premiere. So anyways, thank you guys all for watching. You go turn it off. There you go, Mr. Scotty. Bye, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. Have a wonderful weekend and all that fun stuff.